The rain hammered against the windshield like accusations Logan had heard one too many times, each drop a reminder of the front door slamming shut behind him 3 years ago. "You're not my son anymore," his father's voice echoed in the downpour, gravelly and final, as if love could be revoked like a library card. Logan gripped the steering wheel tighter, the old pickup truck skidding on the slick Seattle streets, wondering if the Puget Sound would swallow him whole before the hurt did. Logan Hale had always known he was different, but it wasn't until his 29th birthday that the world decided to make it a crime. The Hale family ranch sprawled across the outskirts of Ellensburg, Washington, a dusty kingdom of alfalfa fields and weathered barns where men like his father, Harlan, ruled with calloused hands and unyielding Bibles. Logan's mother, Evelyn, baked pies that won county fairs, her smiles as warm as the ovens she tended. But beneath it all simmered the tension of secrets kept in the name of propriety. Logan had grown up mending fences and herding cattle, his broad shoulders filling out flannel shirts early. But his gaze lingered a beat too long on the ranch hands with sun-kissed skin and easy laughs. He buried it deep, like the irrigation pipes snaking underground, until the night it burst free. It started with a letter, tucked into his duffel bag after a weekend supply run to Yakima. The envelope bore his mother's looping script, "We need to talk when you get home." Logan's stomach twisted as he drove back under a sky bruised purple by twilight. He imagined every scenario, Evelyn sick, Harlan's arthritis flaring worse, but nothing prepared him for the ambush waiting in the kitchen. The air smelled of pot roast cooling on the counter, the grandfather clock ticking like a heartbeat in the hall. Harlan sat at the head of the oak table, his Stetson pushed back, face carved from years of wind and regret. Evelyn hovered by the sink, wringing a dish rag until her knuckles whitened. "Sit down, boy," Harlan grunted, not looking up from the Bible open before him, pages dog-eared at Leviticus. Logan dropped into the chair opposite, the wood creaking under his weight. The letter from his bag lay between them like evidence in a trial. "What's this about?" he asked, voice steady despite the flutter in his chest. Harlan slid the paper across, his thick fingers trembling just once. It was a note Logan had written to himself months ago, a confession scrawled in a moment of whiskey-fueled honesty after a bar fight in Sealy Elam where he'd kissed a stranger under neon lights. He'd meant to burn it, but it must have slipped out during laundry. "I can't pretend anymore," it read. "I'm gay. And it's killing me to hide it from you all." The silence stretched, broken only by the drip of the faucet. Evelyn's eyes filled first, tears tracing paths down her flour-dusted cheeks. "Oh, Logan," she whispered, reaching for him, but Harlan's hand shot out, stopping her. "This ain't our boy," Harlan said, voice low and thunderous. "God's got a plan, and this is the devil's whisper. You think we raised you for that?" He stood, chair scraping back like a challenge. Logan rose too, heart pounding against his ribs. He'd rehearsed this in mirrors, in the quiet of the barn at dawn, but the words stuck now, heavy as mud. "Dad, this is who I am. I love you. That doesn't change." Harlan's laugh was bitter, devoid of humor. "Love? This ain't love. It's a choice, and you chose wrong. Pack your things. You're done here." Evelyn sobbed openly then, burying her face in her apron, But she didn't move to stop him. Logan stumbled upstairs, stuffing clothes into his bag with shaking hands, the walls of his childhood room closing in. Posters of rodeo stars peeled at the edges. The twin beds sagged under ghosts of safer dreams. By midnight, he was gone, taillights fading into the highway's black maw, the ranch a silhouette swallowed by night. Seattle greeted him like a reluctant lover. Gray skies, relentless rain, and streets teeming with faces that blurred into anonymity. He crashed on a cousin's couch in Capitol Hill for a month, dodging questions about back home with half-truths and forced grins. Jobs came piecemeal. Barista at a coffee shop near Pike Place, where the aroma of roasted beans masked the ache in his gut. Night shifts stocking shelves at a QFC, fluorescent lights buzzing like judgment. Nights were worse. Alone in a studio apartment above a laundromat, the hum of dryers a poor substitute for family chatter. He'd scroll through Grindr sometimes, thumb hovering over profiles of men with easy smiles, but fear won out. What if they saw the broken parts? What if he shattered again? It was on one such night, rain lashing the window like tears he couldn't shed, that Logan first heard the stories. The apartment below housed a shelter for homeless youth, and voices drifted up through the thin floorboards. Raw, unfiltered tales of kids cast out for the same sin that had exiled him. A boy named Riley, 16 and freckled, spoke of his Baptist parents in Spokane locking the door after finding his diary. A girl, Mia, with blue-streaked hair, recounted her stepfather's rage in Tacoma, the bruises that followed her confession. Logan lay there, fists clenched in the sheets, rage simmering into resolve. If the world wouldn't shelter them, who would? The idea took root slowly, fertilized by coffee-fueled all-nighters researching grants and bylaws. By spring, he'd scraped together enough from overtime and a small inheritance from his grandmother, Evelyn's mother, who'd slipped him a check with a note. Follow your heart. Always. He found a crumbling Victorian in Fremont, Seattle's quirky underbelly, with turrets like crooked fingers and a yard overgrown with blackberries. The realtor, a wiry woman named Carla with tattoos snaking up her arms, eyed him skeptically. You sure about this fixer-upper? Hon, it's got ghosts. Logan smiled faintly, signing the papers. Good. Mine aren't going anywhere. Renovations began in fits and starts. He learned to swing a hammer from YouTube tutorials, blisters blooming on his palms like badges. Neighbors pitched in. The barista from his old job, Jamal, with his infectious laugh and skill with plumbing. A retired teacher, Ms. Patel, who organized paint parties that dissolved into potlucks. Logan poured himself into the walls, sanding away rot, painting rooms in soft blues and greens that evoked calm seas. He named it Haven House, a beacon for runaways under 25, LGBTQ focused but open to all lost souls. Bylaws were filed, a nonprofit status secured through pro bono help from a queer lawyer in Belltown. The first grant came from a Seattle foundation, modest but enough to stock a pantry and buy bunk beds. Opening day dawned misty, the sound glittering like shattered glass beyond the bridge. Logan stood on the porch, key in hand, heart a wild drum. No fanfare, just a sign hammered into the lawn. Haven House, a place to land. The first knock came at dusk. A scrawny kid named Theo, 17, with a backpack slung low and eyes like haunted wells. Heard about this from a hotline, he muttered, shivering in a hoodie 2 sizes too big. My folks in Portland. They said I was an abomination. Logan's throat tightened. He stepped aside, gesturing inward. You're home now, kid. Come eat. Theo hesitated, then crossed the threshold, the door clicking shut like a promise kept. In that moment, amid the scent of fresh paint and simmering chili, Logan felt the first crack in his armor heal, a sliver of light where darkness had reigned. But Seattle's rains whispered warnings. Nothing worthwhile came without storms. As weeks blurred into months, Haven House pulsed with tentative life. Theo claimed the corner room, walls soon plastered with sketches of fantastical beasts, dragons with rainbow scales, unicorns in leather harnesses. He was quiet at first, emerging for meals with downcast eyes, but Logan's patient overtures coaxed stories from him. A childhood in a trailer park, the sting of his father's belt after the truth spilled at a family barbecue. He said I'd burn, Theo whispered one evening over Scrabble tiles, the board a battlefield of forgotten words. Logan nodded. No platitudes, just a hand on his shoulder. You're here. That's the win. More arrived like driftwood on the tide. Kai, a non-binary teen from Olympia, with buzzed hair dyed electric blue and a laugh that shattered silences. They'd been kicked out after coming out to their evangelical aunt, the only guardian left after parents overdose. Kai fixed bikes in the garage, turning rust buckets into gleaming escapes, and taught the house group therapy sessions via Zoom with a therapist volunteer. Then there was Ellis, 18 and brooding, fresh from a Chicago foster system that chewed him up and spat him out for acting too gay. His poetry filled notebooks, verses raw as open wounds, recited in the living room under strings of fairy lights Logan had strung like stars. Logan orchestrated it all with a quiet command, his ranch-bred discipline channeling into schedules. Communal dinners at 6, art nights on Tuesdays, therapy circles Thursdays. He cooked like Evelyn had taught him, hearty stews, cornbread golden and crisp, infusing each bite with unspoken care. Nights found him in the office, a nook off the kitchen piled with grant applications and donor letters, the glow of his laptop the only light. Exhaustion etched lines around his eyes, but purpose dulled the edge of loneliness. Romance flickered at the edges, unbidden. There was Marcus, a social worker who dropped off supplies, his dark curls and warm baritone stirring something dormant in Logan. They'd linger over coffee, Marcus's knee brushing Logan's under the table, conversations veering from caseloads to dreams deferred. You're doing holy work here, Marcus said once, eyes holding Logan's with an intensity that made the air thicken. Logan wanted to lean in, to taste the possibility, but ghosts held him back. Harlan's voice, Evelyn's tears. Just one step at a time, he'd murmur, pulling away. Yet the house wove its spell. Laughter echoed first from the kitchen, Kai's whoop over a botched pancake flip sending Theo into giggles that built like waves. Evenings on the porch, wrapped in blankets against the chill. They'd share horizons, Kai's vision of art school, Ellis's novel brewing in his mind. Logan watched, heart swelling, the fragments of his own shattered life mending in their light. But beneath the warmth, fissures formed. Whispers from the neighborhood, that gay house brings trouble. A slashed tire on Logan's truck, anonymous and vicious. And in the mail, A letter from Ellensburg. Evelyn's handwriting shaky. Your father is ill. Come home. Logan burned it in the sink. The flames dancing like accusations. He couldn't go back. Not yet. Haven House was his anchor. These kids his blood. But as autumn leaves turned the streets to fire, a new arrival shattered the fragile peace. Jude, 20, with sun-bleached hair and a surfer's build, arrived soaked from a ferry mishap, eyes blue as the bay and carrying secrets heavier than his duffel. Need a bed, he said, voice edged with something Logan recognized, the mask of bravado hiding terror. Jude's story unfolded in fragments. Abandoned by his Marine father in San Diego after a drunken confession. Drifting north on greyhounds and odd jobs. He fixed things, the leaky roof, the finicky furnace, his hands steady where his gaze wavered. Logan felt the pull immediately, a current under calm waters, but duty anchored him. You're safe here, he told Jude that first night, handing him a towel. Jude's fingers brushed his, lingering a fraction too long, and in that touch, Logan glimpsed the storm ahead. Winter clamped down on Seattle like a vice, the city hunkering under layers of fog and frost that turned the Space Needle into a ghost tower. Haven House glowed against the gloom. Windows steamed from within, laughter spilling out like contraband warmth. Logan rose before dawn, coffee brewing as he planned the day, counseling intakes, a field trip to the aquarium for the younger ones, grant deadlines looming like storm clouds. Jude settled in quickly, claiming the attic room with its slanted ceilings and view of the ship canal. He worked construction days, muscles honed from California waves now bent to hauling lumber for a community build in Ballard. Evenings, he'd join the circle, his voice a low rumble sharing tales of midnight bonfires and ocean whispers, drawing the kids like moths. Theo idolized him, sketching Jude's profile in charcoal, the lines fierce and tender. He's like a hero from those graphic novels, Theo confided to Logan one afternoon, rain pattering on the greenhouse they jury-rigged from salvaged glass. Kai rolled their eyes but grinned, challenging Jude to chess matches that devolved into trash talk and inside jokes. Ellis, ever the observer, penned verses about the golden boy with salt in his veins, slipping them under Logan's door like anonymous valentines. Logan read them by lamplight, pulse quickening, then folded them away. Attraction was a luxury he couldn't afford, not when the house teetered on razor-thin budgets. Marcus became a fixture, his visits stretching from drop-offs to dinners. A black man in his mid-30s, with a fade haircut and laugh lines that crinkled his deep brown eyes. He worked for the city's youth outreach, funneling resources to places like Haven. You're a miracle worker, Logan, he'd say, passing a casserole dish, their shoulders brushing in the narrow hall. One night, after the kids crashed early from a movie marathon, the perks of being a wallflower, tears and tissues abounding, Marcus lingered. The living room fire crackled, casting shadows that danced across his face. You ever think about more than this? Marcus asked, voice soft, knee pressing against Logan's on the couch. The question hung, loaded. Logan swallowed, the weight of unspoken years pressing down. This is more, he replied, but his eyes betrayed him, flicking to Marcus's lips. They kissed then, tentative at first, then deepening like a hunger long starved. Marcus's hands were gentle, tracing Logan's jaw, pulling him closer until the world narrowed to breath and heat. It was Logan's first real intimacy since the ranch. A balm on scars he thought permanent. They parted breathless, foreheads touching. "No rush," Marcus murmured. "We've got time." But time was a thief. The letter from Evelyn gnawed at Logan, arriving in waves. Another, then a call from a cousin in Ellensburg. Harlan's cancer. Aggressive. Lungs riddled like Swiss cheese from decades of Pall Malls. "He asks about you," the cousin said, voice crackling over the line. Logan hung up, staring at the receiver as if it burned. Forgiveness or confrontation? He drove to Alki Beach at midnight, waves crashing like indictments, Jude's truck idling nearby. He'd insisted on tagging along, sensing the storm. They walked the sand in silence, pebbles crunching under boots. "You don't owe them shit," Jude said finally, breath fogging the air. His profile was sharp against the moonlit water, vulnerability cracking his easy grin. Logan wanted to believe him, to lean into the solidarity, but blood pulled like gravity. The house's rhythm faltered under the strain. A pipe burst in the basement, flooding the laundry room. Logan waded in up to his knees, cursing as Jude dove in to help, their laughter echoing wet and wild. But darker currents swirled. Whispers from locals escalated. Graffiti on the fence. "Sinners welcome?" A rock through the kitchen window one night, shattering glass and Kai's fragile sleep. Police came, took statements, but Logan saw the doubt in their eyes. The Seattle PD's underfunding meaning low priority for lifestyle disputes. Jude's past surfaced in nightmares, shouts waking the house at 3 a.m. Logan found him on the porch, chain-smoking, eyes red-rimmed. "Dad was a drill sergeant," Jude confessed over steaming mugs of chamomile. "Caught me with a guy from the base. Said he'd disown me, then did. Left me with nothing but bruises and a bus ticket." His voice cracked, and Logan pulled him into a hug, platonic but charged, Jude's head heavy on his shoulder. "You're not nothing," Logan whispered. "Not here." Spring thawed the ice, bringing blooms to the yard and new faces to Haven. Among them, Riley returned, not the boy from the shelter stories, but a girl named Riley Voss, 19, with a pixie cut and piercings glinting like stars. She'd run from Boise after her Mormon family staged an intervention, complete with pamphlets and prayers. Riley baked, her scones flaky and laced with lavender from the garden, and organized pride workshops, turning the garage into a rainbow explosion of posters and zines. Her energy was infectious, pulling even Ellis from his shell, their late-night jam sessions on guitar and ukulele filling the air with chords of hope. Logan navigated it all, his romance with Marcus blooming in stolen moments, a weekend getaway to the San Juans, where ferries cut through mist and cabins smelled of pine. They hiked trails lined with ferns, Marcus's hand in his, stories flowing like the creeks. "I grew up in Atlanta," Marcus shared over campfire esmores, flames reflecting in his eyes. "Church every Sunday, but I knew by 12. Came out at 18, lost friends, kept mom." Logan envied the partial grace, contrasting his total exile. They made love that night, slow and reverent, bodies mapping forgiveness. Back in Seattle, the house swelled to capacity, 12 residents, a waiting list growing. Fundraisers dotted the calendar. A bake sale at the Fremont Sunday Market, where Theo's dragon cookies flew off tables. A talent show in the backyard. Kai's spoken word piece on gender fluidity bringing the crowd to its feet. Logan spoke at a gala in Pioneer Square. Suit ill-fitting but voice steady. These kids aren't broken. They're survivors. Haven gives them wings. Donations poured in. But so did scrutiny. A local news segment painted Haven as a controversial haven, interviewing bigots from the suburbs who clutched pearls over recruiting. Harlan's condition worsened. Evelyn's calls pleaded now. He's asking for you, Logan. Please. He booked a ticket. Gut churning. Jude offering to drive him to the airport. Their goodbye was charged, Jude's hand on his arm. Eyes searching. Come back whole, he said. And Logan nodded. The words of vow. Ellensburg unfolded like a wound reopened. The ranch looked smaller. Fields barren under a relentless sun. Evelyn embraced him fiercely. Thinner now. Her hugs bone and desperation. Harlan lay in the master bedroom. Oxygen mask hissing. Skin jaundiced as old paper. You came, he rasped. Eyes milky but piercing. For Mom, Logan said, standing rigid by the bed. Harlan coughed. A wet rattle. I was wrong. Scared. Thought I'd lose you to that life. The pause hung. An olive branch or trap. Logan sat, the chair groaning. Words tumbled, hurt, rage, the empty years. Harlan listened, tears tracking into his pillow. Forgive an old fool? He whispered at last. Not yet, Logan replied, but softer. But I'll stay. Days blurred into vigils. Evelyn's pies a ritual of amends. Logan helped with chores. The familiarity a double-edged sword, comfort laced with pain. On the third night, Harlan passed quietly, Logan's hand in his, a final squeeze like absolution. The funeral was sparse. Locals murmuring condolences laced with curiosity. Evelyn clung to him after. You're all I have left. He promised visits. The ranch a tether loosened but not severed. Returning to Seattle felt like resurfacing. The plane dipping through clouds into rain-swept lights. Jude met him at Seattle-Tacoma. Hug bone-crushing. Missed you, boss. The house erupted in welcomes. Riley's cake. Kai's playlist of anthems. But in Jude's gaze, Logan saw the shift. Admiration edging into something deeper. A mirror to his own confusion. Marcus noticed too. Over dinner, his touch possessive. Everything okay? Logan nodded, but the triangle tightened. Unseen fault lines cracking. Summer hummed with possibility, barbecues on the deck. Salmon grilled with lemon from the market. Stories swapped under solstice sun. Theo landed a scholarship to an art camp in Port Townsend. His dragons soaring free. Ellis submitted poems to a queer lit mag. Rejections met with group toasts. Kai came out as they slashed them fully. The house a chorus of affirmation. Logan thrived in the chaos. Marcus a steady harbor. Their love deepening in quiet intimacies. Lazy Sundays in bed. Fingers tracing tattoos of resilience. Yet Jude's presence loomed. His fixes extending to Logan's heart. Late talks on the roof. Beers in hand. Confessions flowing. Never felt this. Settled, Jude admitted. Voice husky. Logan pulled back, loyalty to Marcus a shield. But desire whispered, treacherous and sweet. The betrayal brewed in shadows. A donor, Victor Lang, a silver-haired philanthropist from Bellevue, poured funds into Haven, renovations, a van for outings. Charming at first, his visits lingered, compliments veering personal. You're wasted on social work, Logan. Ever thought of private consulting? Logan demurred, but Victor persisted. Invitations to galas, eyes appraising. One evening, after a check presentation, Victor cornered him in the office. I could make you rich. All you need is discretion. The implication hung, funds tied to favors unspoken. Logan rebuffed him, door slamming. But Victor's retaliation was swift. Anonymous tips to the press, twisting Haven's narrative into scandal. Taxpayer money for perversion? Headlines screamed. Funding dried up overnight, the house teetering. Residents whispered fears, Theo's sketches darkening. Marcus rallied support, protests at City Hall, but the damage festered. Jude confronted Logan in the garage, wrench in hand. Let me help. I know guys in construction, donations, labor. His proximity ignited sparks. Logan's resolve fraying. They kissed in the dim light, impulsive and searing, guilt flooding in its wake. Can't, Logan gasped, pulling away. Jude's face crumpled. Why fight it? Because love was a house of cards, Logan thought, as the rains returned. Autumn's palette bled into Seattle's veins. Maples igniting Queen and Hill in fiery reds, the air crisp with the promise of change. Haven House stood resilient, but the siege wore grooves. Victor's smear campaign rippled outward, sponsors withdrawing like tides, the pantry echoing hollow. Logan paced board meetings in a borrowed conference room downtown, pitching salvaged dreams to skeptical suits. These kids deserve stability, he'd argue. Voice raw, charts of success rates his ammunition. A few held MS. Patel's network, Marcus's advocacy, but the shortfall loomed, a specter over family meetings. Residents adapted with grit. Riley spearheaded thrift drives, turning consignment finds into fashion shows that packed the backyard. Proceeds buying winter coats. Kai launched a GoFundMe. Viral videos of house talent. Ellis's poetry slams. Theo's murals, tugging heartstrings across the sound. Jude threw himself into manual labor, bartering skills for supplies, his truck groaning under loads of drywall from a sympathetic contractor in Soto. Nights, he'd collapse on the couch, grease-streaked and grinning, regaling the group with tall tales of rogue waves and midnight dives. Logan watched from the kitchen doorway, torn, Jude's light a temptation, Marcus's steadiness a vow. The kiss lingered like a bruise, unspoken between them. Jude respected the boundary, his touches now fraternal pats, but electricity hummed in silences. Marcus sensed the undercurrent, his questions gentle but probing over takeout tie in his queen and walk-up. Something's off. Talk to me. Logan deflected with chores, the ranch's echo of avoidance haunting him. Intimacy faltered. Marcus's advances met half-hearted responses, frustration etching his brow. I'm here, Logan. Don't shut me out. The house's heart beat on, a defiant pulse. Halloween transformed the Victorian into a haunted haven. Cobwebs draped from turrets, pumpkins carved with queer icons glowing on the stoop. Kids from the neighborhood trick-or-treated warily at first, then in droves, drawn by Candy and Kai's fog machine theatrics. Theo dressed as a phoenix, wings of recycled bottles shimmering. Riley as Frida Kahlo, unibrow bold and flowers riotous. Even Ellis joined, a vampire poet with fangs and a notebook dripping blood ink. Logan went as a lumberjack, flannel and axe prop, a nod to Ellensburg roots. Marcus at his side in matching plaid, their couple's costume a public claim. Jude opted for a pirate, eye patch askew, rum bottle non-alcoholic swinging. He captained the after-party games, pinned the tail on the drag queen poster eliciting shrieks. As the night waned, costume stragglers thinning, Jude pulled Logan aside to the garden, leaves crunching underfoot. "You're glowing tonight," he said, voice low, the lantern light gilding his features. Logan stepped back, heart racing. "Marcus, forget him for a second. What do you want?" Jude's hand cupped his neck, thumb stroking jawline. The pull was magnetic, Logan's resolve crumbling in the chill. They kissed again, deeper, Jude's body pressing urgent. Guilt surged, but so did need a release from the siege. They broke apart panting, Jude's eyes stormy. "This isn't over." Logan fled inside, finding Marcus amid the cleanup, his smile faltering at the flush on Logan's cheeks. No accusations that night, but the seed of doubt rooted. November brought Thanksgiving, a feast Logan orchestrated like a truce. Turkeys roasted alongside tofurkey, Evelyn's recipe cards yellowed in his pocket, a bridge to the past. The table groaned under sides, candied yams from Riley, cornbread dressing Kai doctored with sage, Ellis's experimental cranberry relish tart with secrets. Residents swelled the circle, alumni like Theo, home from camp with tales of fairies and fox sightings. New faces, a trans kid named Alex from Everett, voice soft but eyes fierce. Toasts rang out to survival, to chosen kin. Jude sat across Logan, foot nudging his under the table, a tease, a dare. Marcus, beside Logan, linked fingers, anchoring. After pie, stories circled. Riley's Boise escape, Kai's aunt's rejection, Jude's marine ghosts. Logan shared fragments of the ranch, Harlan's death a quiet elegy. "Family isn't blood," he concluded, voice thick. "It's this." Applause rippled, but Marcus's grip tightened, perceptive. The betrayal detonated mid-month. Victor struck again, this time personal, a leaked email chain. Logan's rebuff twisted into solicitation. Desperate director begs for more, the tabloid spin screamed. Photos of Haven grainy and accusatory. Donors fled en masse. The city audit loomed, inspectors sniffing for impropriety. Logan faced the house counsel in the living room, fairy lights mocking the gravity. "We're clean. This is slander." But fear etched young faces, Theo's sketches abandoned, Kai pacing, Ellis silent. Jude rallied first. "Fuck him. We'll crowdfund harder." He organized a benefit concert in a Fremont warehouse. Bands from the queer scene donating sets. Tickets selling out via word of mouth. Marcus lawyered up, filing defamation suits with a firm pro bono. Logan burned under the scrutiny, sleep evading him, the office a war room of press releases and calls. One dawn, Jude found him there, head in hands. "You're drowning," Jude said, pulling him up. Their embrace turned fervent, clothes shedding in the dim, bodies colliding on the desk in a frenzy of release. It was reckless, raw. Jude's whispers of, "I've got you a lifeline." Dawn found them tangled, Logan's guilt a dawn chorus. Marcus discovered it piecemeal, a forgotten hoodie in Jude's truck. Logan's distracted silences cresting into evasion. Confrontation came over coffee at a Capitol Hill cafe, rain sheeting the windows. "It's him, isn't it?" Marcus's voice was even, pain laced with steel. Logan confessed, words tumbling like rocks. "I love you, but I don't know who I am anymore." Marcus stood, chair scraping. "Figure it out. But don't string me along." He walked into the downpour, leaving Logan adrift. The house fractured in ripples. Whispers among residents, Jude's bravado masking hurt. Kai confronting Logan in the kitchen. "You're the adult. Fix this." Theo withdrew, dragons turning demonic. The benefit concert saved the fiscal cliff. Cheers thundering as the final band, a indie folk duo, belted anthems of resilience. Logan took the stage for thanks, voice breaking, "Haven isn't mine. It's ours." Backstage, Jude waited, arms open, but Logan sidestepped, the high crashing into isolation. Winter solstice loomed, holidays a minefield. Evelyn visited, train from Ellensburg, her presence a bomb and barb. She toured the house, eyes widening at the vibrancy. Riley's herb garden, Alex's woodworking bench. Over cocoa, she shared Harlan's last words, "Tell Logan I'm proud." Tears flowed, mother and son clinging. "You built something beautiful," she said. Logan nodded, but the lie of his heart weighed heavy. Jude pushed, their encounter stolen, the attic, the garage, passion a temporary salve. "Choose me," he'd urge, body spent beside Logan's. But choice eluded, Marcus's texts unanswered, a ghost in Logan's phone. The crisis peaked New Year's Eve, a house party with sparklers and cider. Fireworks burst over the canal as resolutions hung unspoken. Logan slipped out to the porch, bottle in hand, when Marcus arrived, uninvited, coat dusted with frost. "We need to end this," Marcus said, breath visible. For real, his eyes held no anger, only sorrow. Logan nodded, the severance a blade. As Marcus turned away, Jude emerged, witnessing the finale. "You bastard," Jude snarled, lunging not at Marcus, but Logan, fists clenched. "You play us both?" The porch erupted, shouts drawing the party, kids spilling out in confusion. Kai pulled Jude back, Riley herding others inside. Logan faced the wreckage, voice steady amid chaos. "I fucked up. Royally." Jude stormed off, truck roaring into night. Marcus lingered a moment, hand on Logan's shoulder. "Heal yourself first, then gone." Alone with the dying fireworks, Logan sank to the steps, sobs racking him. The house he'd built for salvation now mirrored his ruin, Love betrayed. Trust eroded. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, as he wondered if foundations could crack irreparably. But Haven endured, his pulse faint but stubborn. January thawed secrets. Residents circled wagons. Therapy sessions unpacking the fallout. Theo's art returned. A mural on the fence. A phoenix from ashes. Logan's face woven in feathers. Kai mediated. Their wisdom beyond years. Leaders fall. It's the rising that counts. Logan stepped back, delegating to a volunteer board. Time bought for introspection. He drove to Discovery Park. Trails muddied by melt. Sitting on driftwood logs as gulls wheeled overhead. Journaling became ritual. Pages filled with ranch memories. Seattle graces. The hollow of his choices. Evelyn's letters sustained. Stories of ranch life. A new foal named Hope. Roots run deep, she wrote. Logan replied, vulnerability bleeding ink. Jude vanished for weeks. Job sites claiming him. But a postcard arrived from Baja. Surfing my demons. Back soon. Forgive. Logan pocketed it. Undecided. Spring stirred revival. Grants trickled in. Victor's suit settling out of court with a gag and restitution. The house bloomed, literal and figurative. Cherry blossoms dusting the yard. New intakes like Sam. A shy 15-year-old from Spokane with a violin case and violinist dreams. Group hikes to Rattlesnake Ledge. Vistas of Cascades humbling egos. Logan reemerged. Lighter. His leadership tempered by humility. Jude returned tanned and taciturn. Truce offered over fence mending. No expectations, he said. Hammer swinging rhythmic. Logan accepted. The space between them healing slow. Marcus crossed paths at a conference. Handshake cordial. A nod to shared history. Proud of you, Marcus said. And meant it. Emotions crested in May. A pride parade float Haven built, dragons and rainbows on wheels. Logan marched arm in arm with the crew. Jude on one side. Kids chanting. The city thrummed electric. Confetti raining like blessings. In the afterglow, at a rooftop bar overlooking Elliott Bay, Jude and Logan talked true. Fears laid bare. Futures sketched tentative. Friends first, Jude proposed. Grin crooked. Logan agreed. The foundation reset. Yet the arc bent toward climax. Summer's heat forging tests anew. June unfurled in Seattle like a secret unveiled. Sunsets lingering gold over the Olympics. The air humming with fairy horns and street musicians' strains. Haven House thrummed with summer's looseness. Windows flung wide. Fans whirring against the rare humidity. Kids spilling into the yard for impromptu volleyball. The net strung between maples. Logan settled into the new equilibrium. His role shifting from captain to compass. Guiding without gripping. Mornings found him in the garden. Knees dirted as he weeded alongside Riley. Her laughter bubbling over shared harvests of zucchini and mint. This is therapy, she'd say, wiping soil from her brow. And Logan would nod. The earth a quieter confessor than words. Jude's return wove subtle threads. Breakfasts where he'd flip pancakes with theatrical flair. Syrup art spelling residents' names. Evenings fixing the old piano in the parlor. Coaxing Chopin from ivories warped by damp. Their interactions danced on the edge of old fire. Glances holding heat, but restraint held, a mutual vow. Jude opened up in fragments. Letters from his father, postmarked San Diego, curt and conditional. Come home, son. Leave that life. Jude burned them in the fire pit, ashes scattering like renounced sins. Logan shared Evelyn's updates. The ranch sold piecemeal. Her move to a cottage in CLE Elam. Tentative peace. The house's family deepened. Sam, the violinist, practiced scales that drifted like smoke, drawing Ellis to duets, poetry recited to strings, verses of longing and light. Kai mentored Alex through transition binders sourced from a Capitol Hill collective, their bond sisterly and fierce. Theo's art bloomed into a gallery show at a Fremont co-op, dragons and phoenixes fetching bids from teary patrons. Pride's momentum carried into community outreach, Haven's van ferrying kids to clinics in the U District, workshops on safe sex and self-defense in the basement. Logan coordinated, his voice at panels steady. Visibility isn't vanity. It's survival. Romance simmered beneath, unclaimed. Jude's proximity tested. A brush of hands during a group mural project sparking jolts Logan quashed with chores. Dreams plagued him. Tangled sheets with Marcus's ghost. Jude's sun-warmed skin. Awake. He'd run the Burke-Gilman Trail at dawn. Pavement pounding out confusion. Lake Washington's waters a mirror to turmoil. One humid night, after a block party where Haven hosted a barbecue, ribs smoked low and slow, neighbors thawing suspicions, Jude cornered him in the alley shadows. Can't keep dancing around this, Jude murmured, breath warm on Logan's neck. The kiss ignited, urgent against brick, hands roaming with pent need. Logan yielded, then halted, forehead to Jude's. Slow. Please. Jude nodded, pulling back with a ragged laugh. You're killing me. Hail. But the pact held. Friendship's scaffolding stronger for the strain. Crisis brewed from without. Victor's shadow lingered, though sued silent. His network whispered poison, funding boards citing instability in reviews. A bigger blow landed in July. City zoning changes. Haven's residential status threatened by group home regulations favoring suburbs. Logan rallied allies, Marcus, now at a larger agency, looping in lobbyists, MS. Patel's petitions circling schools. Protests formed. Rainbow signs bobbing at council meetings. Residents testifying with voices unbroken. Kai's speech went viral. This isn't a house. Its heartbeat. The fight galvanized. But exhaustion crept. Logan collapsed one evening. Flu hitting hard. Fever dreams of ranches aflame. The house nursed him. Riley's broth. Theo's cool cloths. Jude's vigil at bedside. Hand clasping his through delirium. Not leaving, Jude whispered. And Logan clung. Boundaries blurring in haze. Recovery brought clarity. A reckoning. He'd built haven for others, but his own heart starved. August scorched. Heat waves buckling asphalt. A retreat to the Olympic Peninsula offered respite. Cabins rented cheap off-season. The group caravanning in the van. Jude's truck trailing. Rain forest enveloped them. Moss-draped giants filtering light into emeralds. Ferns brushing ankles like whispers. Hikes to Solduk Falls. Mist veiling faces in rainbows. Campfires crackling with esmores and secrets. Ellis read poems under stars. Sam violin serenading the night. Logan and Jude shared a tent, platonic by pact. But midnight talks pierced veils. Jude's fear of abandonment, Logan's terror of unworthiness. One dawn, fog-shrouded, they wandered to the river alone, pebbles slick underfoot. "I love you," Jude said simply, skipping a stone across current. Logan stilled, the words a key turning locks. "Me too." The kiss that followed was inevitable, tender as the water's rush, sealing without rush. Back at camp, hands linked casual, the house intuited. Welcome subtle, Kai's wink, Riley's grin. Return brought trials. Evelyn's health faltered. A fall, hip fractured. Hospital in Yakima. Logan flew east, Jude insisting on the drive to Ellensburg first. The old ranch road's a time warp. They stopped at the gate, weeds reclaiming fences, ghosts stirring. "This where it broke," Logan said, voice thick. Jude squeezed his hand. "And where you mended?" At Evelyn's bedside, monitors beeping. She gripped his fingers. "Brought a friend?" she teased weakly. "I'm Jude." Logan introduced, the room warming. Days blurred, rehab visits. Stories swapped over vending machine coffee. Jude charmed nurses, his easy manner a bridge. Evelyn confided pre-surgery. Harlan regretted most. Said you were his light. Logan wept then. Release long damned. Back in Seattle, Unity fortified haven. Zoning battle peaked at a hearing. Council chambers packed. Logan's testimony closing. Home is an address. It's belonging. Victory came narrow. Cheers erupting. Celebrations spilled into streets. Beers at the Elysian. Toasts to tenacity. Fall whispered in. Leaves carpeting paths. Jude and Logan's love deepened measured. Picnics at Gasworks Park. Kites dancing against rusting silos. Quiet nights cooking pasta. Wine loosening laughter. Intimacy built brick by brick. Trust the mortar. The house thrived. Expansions planned. A thrift shop annex. Funded by Theo's gallery windfall. But betrayal's echo resounded. A former resident. Dylan, brief stay last winter. Eyes always wandering, resurfaced. Anonymous posts on forums twisting Haven's success into exploitation. Logan's in it for glory, claims laced with doctor chats. Damage spread. Donors wavering anew. Logan traced it to Dylan. Hurt by early rejection. Seeking revenge. Confrontation came at a coffee shop meet. Arranged neutral. Dylan's face was gaunt. Resentment etched. You promised help. Ignored me. Logan listened. No defenses. Offering amends, a referral to another program. Dylan stormed out. But the post ceased. A fragile peace. Emotions swelled toward solstice. Holidays looming. The house decked in lights. Tree trimmed with ornaments handcrafted. Dragons. Violins. Poems etched in clay. Evelyn arrived by train. Cane tapping. Her presence a gift. Dinner swelled tables. Jude carving turkey. Logan at Evelyn's side. Toast circled to roots and wings. Yet under joy, Logan's crisis simmered, imposter syndrome gnawing. Love's fragility a specter. One night, Jude asleep beside him, Logan slipped out, driving to the sound's edge. Waves lapped black, mirroring doubt. Was he worthy? The call to Marcus came impulsive. Voicemail left. Miss our talks. Sorry. Dawn found Jude searching, finding him at the Overlook. Talk, Jude urged. No judgment. Logan spilled, fears of failing them all, the pull of old wounds. Jude held him, words at anchor, you're enough. We all break. Together, we rebuild. Winter wrapped gentle, snow dusting the city rare and magic. Haven's new year began with resolutions shared. Sam's conservatory audition. Kai's zine launch. Logan vowed presence. Therapy resuming. Vulnerability his strength. Spring's promise bloomed, but summer's forge awaited. Climax in the heat. July's blaze returned. Seattle sweltering under a dome of unyielding blue, the asphalt shimmering like mirage promises. Haven House adapted with hoses and shade sails, the yard a splash zone where kids cooled off, shrieks piercing the haze. Logan and Jude's rhythm solidified, mornings tangled in sheets, coffee shared on the porch swing, the world filtered through their gaze. Jude's job steadied at a shipyard in Ballard, welds sparking like their passion. Logan's days filled with expansions, the thrift shop opening with Riley at helm, racks of vintage tees and donated suits drawing crowds from U-Village. Evelyn's recovery progressed. Weekly calls a ritual. Her voice brighter. Tell Jude I approve. Handsome devil. The house family expanded. Bonds ironclad. Theo's college acceptance to Cornish in Seattle anchored him local. Dorms a bridge to independence. Ellis's Lit Mag publication, a chapbook titled Fractured Hymns, launched at a reading in Elliott Bay Book Company. Lines like, Love's a bruise we wear proud drawing sobs. Kai's zine, Spectrum Threads, circulated underground. Interviews with trans elders weaving history into hope. Sam dueled with auditions. Violin singing in recitals at Benaroya Hall. Haven's front row a sea of cheers. Logan's confidence rebuilt. Panels at conferences from Portland to Vancouver. His story, from exile to embrace, resonating. Marcus attended one in Tacoma. Post-talk handshake evolving to lunch. Waters under bridges clear. Happy for you, Marcus said genuine. His new partner a quiet mention. Logan exhaled. Chapter closed kindly. But the calm veiled tremors. Dylan's truce frayed. Whispers of his return circulated. A job lost. Resentment festering. Anonymous emails arrived at Haven's inbox. Threats veiled. Expose the truth. Or else. Logan dismissed at first. Security cams installed. But unease coiled. Jude noticed. His protectiveness sharpening. Let me handle it. Logan demurred. Independence his creed. August crested the wave. A heat wave peaked. Power outages blacking neighborhoods. Haven's generator humming courtesy of Jude's tinkering. Candlelit dinners became tradition. Stories glowing in flicker. One blackout night. The group sprawled on the lawn. Stars pricking the dome. Guitars strumming folk laments. Jude pulled Logan aside to the hammock. Sway lulling confessions. Marry me someday? Jude murmured. Ringless finger tracing Logan's palm. Laughter bubbled. Then tears Logan's. Fear surfacing. Scared I'll ruin it. Jude kissed eyelids. We ruin together. The proposals echo sweetened days. Plans tentative, elopement to the peninsula, Evelyn as witness. But betrayal's blade fell sharp. Dylan infiltrated, volunteering under alias, eyes hungry for ammo. He charmed at first, sorting donations with feigned zeal, but Logan's wariness prickled. Discovery came brutal. A hidden phone in the shop's backroom, recording snippets, private therapy circle vents, Jude's pillow talk overheard through vents. Dylan fled when confronted, USB snatched, but copies spread online, edited clips painting Haven as cultish, Logan manipulative. The storm hit hurricane force. Media frenzy descended, trucks at the curb, mics thrust at residents exiting for school. Is this a safe space or scandal? Reporters bayed. Funding evaporated. The thrift shop shuttered by health inspectors on technicalities. Residents reeled. Theo's sketches shredded in rage. Kai catatonic. Ellis's book yanked from shelves. Evelyn called frantic. Come home. Safe. Logan barricaded in the office. Phone ringing apocalypse. Jude at his side. Arms steel. We'll fight, Jude vowed. But Logan's resolve cracked. Sobs heaving. I built this for them. Now I'm the poison. Jude held him through night. Dawn breaking bloody. Crisis deepened. City revoked Haven's license pending investigation. Eviction looming in weeks. Emergency meeting in the living room. Faces ashen. Pack, Sam whispered. Violin case clutched. Logan stood. Voice shattering. Not yet. We appeal. Allies mobilized. Marcus's firm filing injunctions. MS. Patel's petitions flooding inboxes. Protests swelled. Allies from Pride linking arms at City Hall. Chants of Haven stays echoing off marble. But internal fractures spiderwebbed. Dylan granted interview. Lies compounding. Logan preyed on vulnerability. Jude snapped. Driving to Dylan's crash pad in White Center. Fists flying in alley dust. Police pulled him off. Bruises blooming. Charges pending assault. Logan bailed him out. Courthouse sterile. Jude's eyes wild. Had to protect us. Logan recoiled. Betrayal's mirror. Violence isn't us. Jude deflated. Sorry, a whisper. The rift widened. Residents split. Kai siding with Logan. Boundaries matter. Theo torn. Idolizing Jude's fire. Ellis penned a public letter. Posted online. Haven's heart is flawed. But beating. Views surged. Support trickling. But damage scarred. Logan isolated. Runs turning marathons. Body punishing mind. Dreams replayed the ranch door slamming. Now Haven's echoing. Climax brewed in September's equinox. Hearing day dawning fogged. Courtroom packed. Dylan smirking from gallery. Victor's shadow in back. Logan's testimony stripped bare. Journey from abandonment. Haven's births and breaths. Mistakes? Yes. But love? Unyielding. Jude testified next. Voice steady. I'd fight worlds for this. Charges dropped on self-defense. His remorse swaying judge. Verdict hung hours. Then landed. License reinstated. Sanctions light. Community service for Jude. Cheers erupted. But Logan's victory tasted ash, trust's web torn. Post-hearing. Group hug in hall. But eyes darted. wounds fresh. Healing's path wounds slow. October cooled fevers, leaves a carpet of gold. Therapy intensified, house circles raw apologies aired. Dylan's block permanent. Thrift shop reopened, sales booming from scandal's irony. Logan and Jude mended measured, counseling together. Jude's temper tamed by yoga Kai led. Partners in progress, Jude joked. Ring now simple silver on Logan's finger. Promise not proposal. Evelyn visited for foliage peak. Drive to Snoqualmie Falls. Waters thundering forgiveness. Proud, she said. Arm linked. Back home. Harvest dinner, squash soup. Apple crisps, stories healing scars. Winter whispered men's. Holidays hearth warm. Tree lighting with neighbors. Carols queer twisted. New Year's. Rooftop under stars. Resolutions whispered. Theo's exhibit. Sam's symphony seat. Logan and Jude slow dance to indie tracks. City lights below a sea of possibilities. Spring's renewal rooted deep. Summer's lessons forged gold. But the arc circled full. Humanistic close in laughter's embrace. November's chill seeped into bones. Seattle's grays softening to silvered edges. The sound a slate mirror reflecting inner tempests. Haven House licked wounds deliberate. Routines a scaffold for repair. Logan rose early. Journal in hand. Pages charting chaos to calm. Dylan's venom neutralized by restraining order. His tales debunked by timestamps and alibis. The media cycle spun on. But Haven's narrative reclaimed. Op-eds from Ellis. Viral threads from Kai. Logan's interview on KUOW radio. Voice steady as tide. Betrayal tests us. Survival defines. Jude's service hours bent to good mentoring at a youth center in Beacon Hill. His energy channeled. Bruises faded to lessons. Evenings. He'd return hands calloused from coaching basketball. Kids' high fives echoing his grin. Logan met him there once. Watching from bleachers. Pride swelling at Jude's patience with a shy point guard mirroring young Theo. You're good at this, Logan said later. Over stir-fry in the kitchen. Veggies sizzle punctuating peace. Jude shrugged. I soft. Learning from the best. The kiss that followed was gentle. A seal on fragile men's. Residents stitched seams. Theo's exhibit at the co-op drew crowds. Dragons reborn in acrylics bold. Titles like Ashes to Allies. Sales funding art supplies. Kai's zine second issue tackled betrayal. Contributors anonymous. Pages cathartic. Sam secured orchestra spot. Violin case thumping triumph through halls. Riley expanded the shop. Pop-up events with local designers. Racks bursting denim and dreams. Evenings knit tighter. Board game nights devolving to charades. Laughter chasing shadows. But Logan's crisis lingered subterranean. A quake waiting. Sleepless nights multiplied. Ranch ghosts merging with Dylan's sneer. Imposter whispers, you fail them all. Therapy unearthed roots. Harlan's rejection a core wound. Haven's helm a mask for control. Let go, his counselor urged. Sessions in a Belltown office overlooking ferries. Logan resisted, then yielded. Tears carving paths. Jude attended once. Hand in his. Vulnerability mirrored. My dad's letters still gut me. Evelyn's Thanksgiving call brought balm. Turkey thawed in her cottage. Stories of CLE alum neighbors. a suitor named Walt with fishing tails. "Come visit soon," she urged. Logan promised, booking tickets for December. Jude tagging along. Family expansion pack. December dusted magic. First snow blanketing Fremont in hush. Haven's holiday market bustled. Booths of wreaths from the yard. Cookies Riley iced festive. Carolers Kyled in harmony queer. Neighbors thawed fully. Donations wrapped in bows. Tree trimming ritual evolved. Ornaments etched with mantras, resilient. Chosen hung amid popcorn strings. Logan's gift to Jude. A leather journal. Pages for his unwritten sea stories. Jude's return. A locket with sound pebble. Anchor, but the emotional nadir-crested eve of Evelyn's visit. Package arrived unmarked. Dylan's doing. Prints of manipulated photos. Logan and Jude intimate. Cropped to sleaze. Notes scrawled. Hypocrite exposed. Panic surged. Logan's hands shaking as he shredded. But shards pierced. Jude found him in the office. Curled fetal. "He's gone. We won." But Logan's breakdown spilled. Sobs convulsing. Words incoherent. "Can't protect. Can't love right. Ranch all over." Jude cradled him. Rocking gentle. House stirring to the storm. Residents gathered unspoken. Hot cocoa steaming. Blankets draped. Kai sat cross-legged. "We've got your back." Theo sketched live. Phoenix from the fray. Dawn broke. Logan surfacing raw. Gratitude a tide. "Thank you," he whispered. Circle closing. Evelyn arrived midday. Train whistle herald. Cane steadier. Tour of mended Haven shops gleam. Murals fresh paint. Drew her awe. "Like a quilt," she said, piecing stories. Dinner swelled. Walt video called. Face ruddy. Jude carved ham with flair. Toasts warmed. To fractures mended. Later, Evelyn pulled Logan aside. Porch swing creaking. "Harlan's ghost? Let it rest." Her hug bone deep. Permission granted. Christmas morning. Gifts unwrapped slow. Scarves knit by hands young. Books dog-eared with notes. Jude and Logan's private. Vows exchanged quiet. Rings slipped on under mistletoe. Someday soon. Snow fell soft. Yard a wonderland. Snowball fight erupting joyous. New Year tiptoed in. Resolutions etched on paper lanterns released to stars. Theo's mastery. Sam's solos. Kai's press. Logan wrote, "Trust the build." Fireworks popped distant. Jude's arm around. Promise palpably. January's resolve hardened. Snow melting to resolve. Zoning scars faded. Grants renewed with endorsements. Thrift shop thrived. Riley's vision expanding to online sales. Packages shipping coast to coast. Jude's mentorship bloomed. A runaway he counseled echoing his youth, progress circular. But Logan's healing demanded descent. February retreat solo to the ranchlands. Airbnb cabin near Ellensburg. Fields fallow under frost. Days wandered barbed wire ghosts. Journal filling with Harlan dialogues imagined. Forgiveness voiced to wind. Nights. Fires crackled solitary. Stars indicting isolation. Call to Jude midway. Missing you. But needed this. Jude's voice anchor. Come back wholer. Return brought integration. Logan's presence lighter. Delegation freer. House council empowered. Kai co-chairing. decisions shared. March's equinox heralded growth, new intake. A boy named Finn from Montana, wide-eyed and wiry, stories of ranch rejection mirroring Logan's. Heard this place saves, Finn said. Duffel dropped. Logan nodded. It does. Welcome. Spring's surge fertilized. Cherry blossoms, confetti streets. Haven's yard riot tulips. Jude proposed formal under them. Knee bent amid petals. Ring glinting. Build forever? Logan yes. Tears joy. Engagement party backyard. Lanterns strung. Evelyn toasting via Zoom. Walt's quip landing soft. Summer's approach promised. But climax's shadow lengthened. Finn's arrival stirring old tides. Dylan's echo faint but persistent. Emotions peaked in June. Pride's march a declaration. Float dragon-led. Logan's speech. From abandoned to architects. Yet the true forge awaited. Betrayal's final twist in heat's embrace. June's sun baked Seattle into a simmer. The city exhaling heat from concrete lungs. Ferries slicing bay like knives through butter. Haven House adapted with misters and melons. The yard a oasis of sprinklers and shade. Laughter arcing over water fights. Logan's engagement ring caught light casual. Constant now. Jude's matching band a twin flame. Mornings. They jogged the locks. Salmon ladders bubbling beside. Coffee steaming post-run on the deck. Honeymoon ideas? Jude teased. Toes entwined. Logan grinned. Peninsula cabins. Waves and us. The house pulsed vibrant. Finn integrated swift. His Montana drawl thickening tales around dinner, cattle drives and closet crushes. Father's shotgun rage sending him hitching west. He bonded with Theo over sketches. Horses rendered wild. With Sam. Fiddles dueling country reels. Riley mentored his shop shifts. Teaching haggling with grin. Kai challenged him to chess. Lessons in strategy and self. Ellis gifted a notebook. Words for your silence. Expansion solidified. Online shops reached to Portland. Pop-ups in Tacoma drawing lines. Grants flowed steadier. A major foundation awarding for resilience models. Logan keynote at a conference in San Francisco. Jude tagging. Their hotel nights a preview of vows. City lights witnessing lovemaking slow. Bodies maps of mercy. Evelyn's visit cemented joys. June wedding planning over brunches. Her cottage recipes for rehearsal. Walt's fly fishing tales for toasts. Simple, Logan insisted. Backyard affair. Chairs under maples. Evelyn nodded. Eyes missed. Like your father wanted. Deep down, but undercurrents stirred. Dylan's silence unnerved. Calm too still. Anonymous cards arrived, blank. Postmarked white center chills tracing Logan's spine. Jude dismissed. Paranoia, but installed locks anew. Finn's nightmares echoed. Wakes at 2 a.m. Logan's porch sojourns with him mirroring past vigils. July's heat peaked. Power reliable now, but tension hummed. A donor gala in Bellevue, Victor absent, but his ilk eyeing wary. Logan networked smooth. Jude charming spouses, but a whisper reached. Dylan regrouping. Forum posts nascent. Old news, Logan breathed, but sleep fled. Climax ignited mid-month. Finn vanished post-shift. Phone dead. Duffel gone. Panic rippled, house searched. Calls to contacts nil. Logan's gut nodded, Dylan's shadow looming. He said something about meeting a friend, Riley recalled, voice small. Jude mobilized. Truck keys jangling. We're finding him. Search spanned hours, trails, bridges, crisis lines. Marcus looped in, his network pinging hostiles. Dawn broke fruitless. Residents hollow-eyed. Kai brewing endless tea. Logan paced. Blame self-lashing. My past dragging him down. Jude pulled him close. Team effort. Break came noon. Finn at a diner in Georgetown. Huddled with Dylan, coerced. Eyes haunted. Jude's hunch led there. Shipyard gossip of drifter sightings. Confrontation erupted. Dylan sneering. Teaching him real life. Finn trembling. Said he'd hurt you all. Logan arrived, sirens wailing. Police in tow. Dylan's arrest swift, harassment charges stacking. Finn collapsed into arms. Sobs racking. Scared. Thought I could handle. Debrief in the van home. Finn's story spilling. Dylan's lure via online alias. Promises of family secrets. Threats veiled. House enveloped him, hot shower. Theo's sketchpad. Sam's melody soothing. Logan faced the circle later. Voice raw. Failed you. Finn. Sorry. Finn shook head. Saved me. Again. Aftermath forged steel. Dylan's arraignment loomed. Evidence mounting, recordings seized. Forums scrubbed. Haven's board fortified protocols. Background vets mandatory. Logan testified prep. Jude at side. You're unbreakable. But crisis cracked him deeper, nights pacing. Ranch abandonment fusing with Finn's peril. Worthiness fracturing. Healing's journey steepened. August cooled breaths. Retreat planned collective, San Juan's ferry. Cabins on Orcas Island. Salish sea lapping peace. Hikes through Madrona Point. Arbutus trees twisting like resolved knots. Kayaks slicing inlets. Seals eyeing curious. Campfires nightly. Stories ritual. Finn's rescue retold heroic. Laughter reclaiming. Jude and Logan led couples walks. Hands linked. Futures voiced. Kids someday? Foster. Logan warmed to it. Family reimagined. Return renewed. Wedding neared. September sun gilding vows. Backyard transformed, arches of wildflowers. Chairs ribboned. Maple's canopy. 50 souls gathered. Evelyn beaming. Walt angling stories. Marcus toasting gracious. Residents resplendent. Theo in vest sketched self. Kai in suit tailored fierce. Riley officiated. Words woven personal. Love builds homes. Vows exchanged under arch. Jude's voice steady. From waves to walls. With you. Logan's. Abandoned no more. Chosen always. Rings slipped. Kiss sealing. Cheers erupting. Reception flowed. Feast of Evelyn's roasts. Sam's quartet. Dances wild. Finn slow danced with Ellis. Steps tentative triumph. Honeymoon whispered peninsula. But first, ranch closure. Logan and Jude drove Ellensburg. Evelyn's cottage stop, her blessing tearful. Walt's handshake firm. Ranch remnants auctioned. Proceeds to Haven seed. Fields farewell. Logan scattered Harlan's ashes. Forgiven. Free. October's palette healed hues. House thrived. Finn's Montana letters home cautious. Bridges tentative. Thrift empire grew. Kai's zine national. Theo's internship at Sam's tour dates. Logan authored op-ed. Betrayal's gift. Stronger bonds. Winter's hush blanketed grace. Holidays hybrid. Evelyn's CLE. Haven's tree. New Year's. Lanterns again. Resolutions etched. Expansions. Adoptions mused. Spring's bloom promised legacies. Summer's laughter the crown. April's showers coaxed Seattle's greens vivid. Tulip fields in Skagit Valley a riot distant. But Haven's yard bloomed intimate. Foxgloves nodding tall. Raised beds bursting lettuce and lavender. Logan and Jude's marriage settled like good earth. Mornings coffee shared on the swing. Evenings walks hand in hand to the canal. Locks lifting boats like burdens eased. 1 year, Jude murmured April's end. Anniversary kiss salt-tanged by breeze. Logan leaned in. Forever's better. The house evolved organism. Expansions breathing. Thrift shop anchored a block collective. Queer cafe adjacent. Baristas Kai-trained slinging lattes with pronouns pinned. Online reach spanned coasts. Packages to runaways in Texas flats. Vermont hamlets. Grants swelled. A wing planned. Therapy suites. Art studios. Names etched donor walls, Harlan Hale quiet among. Residents launched fledglings. Theo's Cornish thesis. Mural for the wing. Phoenix flock. Wings interlocked. Gallery solo show sold out. Proceeds endowing scholarships. Ellis's novel agent. Echoes unsilenced. Manuscript birthed in Haven's quiet corners. Sam toured symphony. Returns with tales of ovations. Violin case scarred travels. Riley's management degree night classes. Shop her proving ground. Kai's zine press birthed. Threads united. Distribution queer bookstores nationwide. Finn fostered a stray pup. Montana named Rome. House mascot bounding chaotic joy. Logan's voice amplified. TEDx Seattle. Stage lights warm. Abandonment carves hollows. Laughter fills them. Applause thundered. Jude front row beaming. Evelyn relocated partial. CLE Elam cottage summer base. Winter's Fremont guest room. Walt's fishing poles lining garage. Family mosaic. She quipped over brunches. Her stories bridged to past. Betrayal scars silvered. Dylan's sentence community service. Irony noted. At a rival shelter. Growth grudging reported. Victor faded. Philanthropy redirected neutral. Logan's therapy closed chaptered. Journals shelved talismans. Summer crested benevolent. July heat-tempered lake days. Green lake picnics. Paddleboards wobbling laughter. House retreat annual. Now tradition. Orcas cabins. Sea otters playful mirrors. Jude and Logan kayak dawn. Inlets whispering dreams. Fostering first. Paperwork filed tentative. Little hails, Jude joked. Hand on Logan's flat belly. Laughter bubbled. Possibility sweet. Pride marched triumphant. Float evolved. Phoenix chariot. Residents cresting. Logan's keynote city stage. Found family isn't fallback. It's fortune. Confetti rained. Jude's kiss public claim. August's E's birth surprise. Call from Montana aunt. Finn's kin. Regret laced. Come collect him proper. Road trip forged. Jude's truck rumbling plains. Logan navigating ghosts. Finn's homecoming tearful. Aunt's hug hesitant but held. Youth's folly. Finn stayed. Rome yipping welcome. Montana a chapter closed kind. September's harvest feasted. Potlucks under harvest moon. Evelyn's pies crown. Theo's wing dedication. Mural unveiling. Logan's eyes in Phoenix lead. Resilient gaze. October cooled contemplative. Jude's shipyard promotion. Foreman steady. Logan's book deal. Memoir Laughter's Landing. Outline sketched fireside. Fostering approval came November. First placement. Twin boys. 14. Urban escapees from Chicago. Eyes wide worlds. House expanded hearts. Bunks added. Routines flex tender. December's snow-dusted delight. Twins Nico and Leo building forts. Rome tumbling. Tree trim chaotic joy. Ornaments multiplied. Evelyn's CLE Elm lights videoed. Waltz ho-ho gravelly. New Year's Eve. Rooftop lanterns soared. Resolutions voiced. Theo's Paris residency. Ellis's book tour. Sam's recording. Kai's grant for Zine Academy. Riley's expansion to Spokane. Finn's high school grad. College bound. Nico and Leo's Stay Forever? Logan's Witness Wonders. Jude's arms circled. With you all. Fireworks burst. City symphony below. Laughter rose purest note. Haven's chorus. Abandoned no more. Home eternal. In that symphony, Logan found the humanism's core. Not perfection, but persistence. Not blood, but bond. Not ending, but endless beginning. Family forged in fractures. Laughter the light through.